Rev up your engines!
Chima Brindval says, Scotty, what do you think about Acura sedans? Are they worth the money? Regards from Mexico. Okay, well, one of the first really well-made Japanese luxury saloons was the Acura Legend, the V6 engine. And, that was a long time ago. It was pushing 30 years ago. They were excellent cars. Now, they were high-tech. They had a V6 engine, but people love those cars. They make good cars. It's just the fancy Hondas. And, of course, you pay more money for them. The parts cost more when you have to fix it, but they can be excellent cars. But like any Honda, the automatic transmissions are always a little bit on the weak side, and especially if you're talking about the Acura SUVs, because the Acura SUVs, I've had many customers have the automatic transmissions go out in those, especially the four-wheel or all-wheel drive Acura SUVs, and man, some of those got $5,000-$6,000 repair bill when those went out. So if you were really looking at a luxury SUV, I'd go with the Lexus before I'd go with the Acura. Scarface N says, Scotty, you talk about how you shouldn't change tires or suspension because it messes up the geometry. What are your thoughts on modding Tacomas for off-roading? Okay, well, now you're talking a different ballgame. You're talking about modifying a pickup truck to go off-roading. And I'm assuming you're talking about a four-wheel drive one, too. If you're really going to go off-roading, you don't really care about the geometry all that much because you're not driving 80 miles an hour. You're going off-roading. You're going at lower speeds. Modify them to your heart's content. Just realize that you've lifted up real high and the drive joints are now at a steeper angle. The U-joints will break and pieces will wear out faster, but you're going off-roading. And if you're going off-roading, you're going to expect stuff to break. That's the name of the game. It's not like, hey, you're going to drive at 100,000 miles trouble-free. You go off-roading, you're going to find things are going to break, and then you modify them, and you want it higher for climbing on rocks and stuff like that. So there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't, think you're going to modify it up for off-roading, and then it's going to be trouble-free driving it in the city. If you really want to do off-roading, do like the guys that I know do. They got one that's their off-road toy, and then they got another one that's their regular truck that they use in town. It's not a good idea to use an off-roading truck in town. It gets worse gas mileage, things wear out, and one should be for the street and one should be for the off-roading. Eli says, Scotty, what do you do if moisture gets inside your headlights? Okay, here's a trick I did years ago. When moisture gets inside headlights, it's getting in there because there's a crack somewhere. So you gotta seal the crack. Find where the crack is and seal it. You can use silicone clear sealer and stuff. Now, if you want to get it out on the fast, you can take the bulb out on the inside and then get a hairdryer and dry it out until it's all gone. Or you can do what I often do. Usually the assemblies are plastic. I got these giant drill bits that are like 2-3 feet long. And I stick them in my drill, and then I go under the car, and inside where you can't see it, I drill a couple holes in the middle of the bottom of the headlight. Because water's always going to drain down. So if any water gets inside, it's going to drain down there. And if you have, say, halogen light bulbs, they put out a lot of heat. And that heat will evaporate the moisture, and since there's those holes now, the moisture will go out the holes. If you still have a little moisture coming in from cracks, it won't evaporate because there's not a big enough hole for it to evaporate. But once you drill a couple holes on the bottom, then, hey, it will go out of those holes. And I often do that on people that don't want to spend money and buy new headlight assemblies. Drill little holes on the bottom. You can't see them because it's inside. And then the water that's inside, the halogens will heat it up enough that the moisture will go down and leave. Scaville says, Scotty, I got a 2012 Camaro that makes a rattling noise when I step on the gas. Did a little research and saw it could be a loose exhaust pipe. What's your intake? Sure, jack it up in the air and see. Now, often it's your catalytic converter rattling. Inside the catalytic converter that burns hydrocarbons, there's a substrata, and they have little holes at the platinum on, and then the gas goes through and the platinum burns the hydrocarbons. When they get older, they will rattle. So if you jack it up and you see the catalytic converter and you get a little rubber mallet and you hit it, you hear it rattling when you tap, it means the cat's going out. But if it runs okay and you don't have any problems, you can live with it. When it really gets bad and the pieces break and jam the exhaust, it builds up too much back pressure. Then it will only go like 55 miles an hour and no faster, and you'll notice the temperature gauge will start running a little hotter because the hot exhaust gas is backing up into the engine. But if it runs okay, you can live with it. It doesn't hurt anything. System Max 2000 said, I got a 99 Oldsmobile Intrigue. The emergency brake light comes on if you're driving a while. When it turns off when I stopped at a light, the e-brake is off. Okay, there's only 3 ways that brake light can come on. One is you're low on fluid. Check the fluid. If you're low on fluid, the float goes too low, and then it gives you a warning. If the switch on your emergency cable is not working, it'll stick on like that. And the other one is the worst one. If your brake system is losing pressure, there's pressure sensors that'll put that light on. So it could be that too. But a lot of times you're just low on brake fluid, or the switch that activates it isn't working anymore and you need to replace it. So check those. It's got to be one of those 3 things.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.